Jean-Michel Basquiat is an American artist born on the 22nd of December 1960 and who passed away on the 12th of August 1988 from an overdose. He is known for his neo-expressionism, which is a return to portraying recognizable subjects with strong emotions and colors. His father is of Haitian descent, while his mother is of Puerto Rican heritage. He would often be brought to museums at a young age and was encouraged to utilize his artistic abilities. He went through many traumatic and difficult situations, including being hit by a car which sent him to the hospital, his parents' divorce, and his mother's hospitalization. These factors, as well as moving on a few occasions, caused him to be involved with drugs and rebellious behavior as a teen. Although he started off with graffiti, Basquiat was also involved in sketching, music, and movies. The subject matters he dealt with were varied, but he would often portray Black figures. He often incorporated his heritage, including his ability to speak Spanish, and would include Spanish words in many of his works. Although he was a talented artist, he wasn't without his criticism. Some attributed his success to a greedy art market that looked to promote anyone in order to increase their profit margins.
In this portrait, Jean-Michel Basquiat portrays John Laurie. In 1982, this is an oil stick on paper. It is part of the Mugrabi collection. The inventory is 1960 B265. Actor, director, saxophonist, and composer John Laurie was a central figure both on the downtown scene and his group, the Lounge Lizards, a major no-wave band in which he instilled jazz instrumentation with a punk spirit. Basquiat and Laurie, who were close friends, would share living quarters as well as the stage a number of times with their respective groups. Executed in 1982, this triple depiction of Laurie testifies to Basquiat's talent as a portraitist. It is dedicated to the actress Mariette Duval, with whom the musician was in a relationship at the time. This particular piece is called Anybody Speaking Words. It is, of course, by Jean-Michel Basquiat, and it was made in 1982. It is an acrylic and oil stick on canvas. It is part of a private collection in Switzerland. Executed in a breakthrough year in his career, Anybody Speaking Words shows Basquiat's iterative mind at work. The painting combines a word with multiple meanings. Opera refers not only to the musical genre, but also to the Latin word meaning work. Anatomical drawing and the rhythmic placing of the graphic marks, which together create visual sound and strike an improvisational note. Here, letters and arrows make the opera or work of music all the more specific, suggesting the heights the voice must climb as the jaw drops to project the sound outwards. It is significant that the mouth stressed opened in this work belongs to a black body. The copyright symbol appearing next to the word opera forces us to consider the commodification of black performers as a leitmotif of Basquiat's practice. Formally, this particular piece is untitled, but informally, the name is Titian. It is, of course, by Jean-Michel Basquiat. It was made in 1982. It is an acrylic and oil stick on paper and is part of a private collection. So part of what motivated me to do this video is the fact that it is Black History Month, so I wanted to do at least some content about a Black artist. Now, this exhibit is at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts until the beginning of March, if I remember correctly. So if you are in Montreal, please do take a moment to go see this exhibit. If you are a member of the museum, you can go and see it for free. What's interesting is that there's this little telephone booth that you can go into, and there's a whole message, and they pretend that it's a ringing phone, and you have a conversation that's going on between Basquiat and somebody else as well. So that's really fun and interesting. So it's a very interactive exhibit. There's recordings, there's videos, there's parts of the movies that he's done, etc. So it's not a static exhibit that you would see like a lot of other exhibits where it's just, oh, here's a sculpture, here's a painting, here's another painting, another sculpture, etc. So you'll have photographs, you'll have paintings, you'll have sculptures, musical interactions, and like I said, the telephone booth, where you are allowed to go into the telephone booth, pick up the phone and everything. And it is an actual telephone booth from back in the 80s and 90s that a lot of us, if you grew up in that generation in a certain era, you know what those phone booths look like, and that kind of like, let me look at this before I touch it kind of thing. So it's an interesting exhibit for an interesting character. To be honest, I've never heard of this person before. This is not an artist that was part of my spectrum of knowledge of arts, but I am relatively new to the art world in general. I mean, other than a couple big names like Picasso or Rembrandt, like if it wasn't a huge name that they kind of just gloss over in elementary school. Like, I grew up in an area had maybe 2 or 3 art classes every few years, and that's about it. I never got in-depth knowledge on the topic. I never really got into it. So for me, all of these things are very new, very fresh, very, oh, this is interesting, this is new. So I definitely enjoyed it. Now, I did go back to this exhibit recently, so this weekend, and boy, was it busy. But I've noticed that a lot of places are getting busier and busier, just because the weather tends to now, in February, March, tends to get a little bit better, a little bit warmer. But also because I think people are going out and trying to profit from the beautiful days, and the fact that a lot of us are now, getting jobs, and going back to school, and we're getting back into the rhythm of things, and really feel like that our lives are now a little bit more normal, right? There's a sort of normalization of things, right? After 2 years of being in a pandemic, people get that sense of, okay, we're not 6 feet difference, and this, you have to do this precaution and wash your hands. Like, even where I live right now, they used to have these tables to physically have distance between you and the receptionist, right? They removed those tables, so it was like, seeing them there in the morning when I left to go to work, and then coming back and they're gone. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? So there's lots of little habits, lots of little things that are different, and sort of going back to what we used to have and what used to be, quote unquote, pre-COVID, and or C-19, ooh, still scary and all that. But it was really bombarded, really very busy. So I intentionally made sure to do other things before going into, and just really going through quickly. So I was really happy that I was able to take my photos of this exhibit way before, right on the, I think it wasn't the first weekend, but like at the very beginning of the exhibit. So it was still busy when I took the photos. So there's still, a lot of frustrated moments where I'm like waiting and like, come on, people, let's go, But I definitely, enjoyed it. Was definitely a nice exhibit to go to. There's a lot of music. They also have a audio guide that you can get for free. You do have to get the app for it though. So, and it's an app that's like geo locked, so you have to be at the museum to access it. So I didn't do it either way. So I don't know if it's worth it, but for those of you who, like I said, are going to go to the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, go ahead, download the app. It's free. Try it. Let me know if you like it or not. Some of these audio guides sometimes, they're kind of a hit and miss. Sometimes they're really great, giving you additional information. Sometimes it's just repeating whatever is already on the screen, and you're like, okay, why, why did you do an audio guide for something that I could just read myself, right? So sometimes, like I said, it's not worth getting that audio guides, because sometimes too you have to pay for it. So, but this one is, I believe, free. So it could be worth the time to just download the app and see if this is something that you might add to your experience. I know that there was a previous exhibit that there was an additional audio guide for free, where there was basically music that was added to the exhibit, and it was beautiful music and definitely added to the experience. So but it's music that's available on YouTube as well, so you don't have to in that particular case have to be at the museum and have to, you just have to know about it, right? So that's why sometimes I'll take pictures of the QR codes and see if I can access the content outside of the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts. And if I can, I try to take advantage and really note that in videos like this or on my photos on Flickr, etc. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting artist. It was interesting to read some of the Wikipedia notes and content on there. I do have obviously all the photos on my Flickr. I won't post a link right away to in the description. I will eventually, but right now I'm still editing the photos and really, transferring the information, descriptors onto the photos. So that text that you see on the right of the photos, those are from the descriptors of the photos from the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts. They're not things that I come up with myself, generally speaking. So I wish I was that knowledgeable on the topics, but unfortunately I don't. But it's definitely worth taking the time to read them. And for those that do go to museums and take photos, if you're allowed, don't just take the photos of the painting or the sculpture or artifact, right? Take a photos of the descriptor too, so that way you as well know what those items are, right? And that's basically what I do. And then, like I said, I do. It does take time, but I do take the time to edit those descriptors, write it out, type it out, and then put it onto the original photo so that I know what it is. It also allows me to, at home, just when I'm more relaxed, take my time to read. It allows me to understand, hey, what does this word mean? Because there's a couple words that were used in one of the paintings here. I was like having trouble pronouncing them, let alone like, what does this mean? So when I'm at home, I can obviously look it up, see how it's pronounced, know what it means, etc., and really just have a better understanding of the painting or the sculpture or whatever the item is, right? So don't be ashamed to do that, guys. It's definitely allows you to edify yourself and hopefully have a better understanding of the painting, of the artist, etc. So I hope that you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, give it a good share. And if you guys have suggestions, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it. You guys are more than welcome to let me know in the comments section. So have a great one, guys.